Now. Alrighty, well, welcome everyone again to our continuous webinar series. Today we are going to be talking about giving and getting during a pandemic. 'Tis the season, right? And so we want to be able to give you some resources on how to navigate those during this COVID-19 pandemic. So to start off, we at Fair Credit are a 501c3 nonprofit out of Salt Lake City. And our mission is to teach individuals and families how to manage their finances wisely to improve and sustain financial well-being. And we are based out of, like I said, Salt Lake, but we cover most of the country. And so our services extend beyond borders, right? So just an overview of some of our services real quick. We offer financial coaching, and at the moment we are doing phone appointments or video appointments only. Our contact information is at the end, and so if you'd like to schedule a free appointment, please give us a call or reach out to us via email. We have debt management plans that can help lower unsecured debts and get you on a payment plan to help with those unsecured debts. We have our IDA match savings account, which can go towards a couple different things. And if you want more information on this match savings program, again, please feel free to reach out to us. Our contact information will be at the end. You are a part of our financial education, and we have all sorts of different programs and classes that we offer. And the last thing that we have for those here in Utah is our refinance payday loan service. And so again, any questions on our services, we'd love to help you out. And so feel free to reach out to us. Again, just a couple of housekeeping items. We'd ask that you keep your mic muted while you're not speaking and while the presenters are presenting, but we would encourage you to use the chat feature to post questions or in the comments below if you're watching this recording at a later date. There will be a live Q&A session at the end. And again, this is a recorded broadcast. With that being said, I'd like to turn the time over to Ellen, our executive director, to talk about our 12 Days of Credit initiative that we are starting. So Ellen, love to turn the time over to you.
Hi again, everyone. So yeah, Fair Credit is going to be for the next 12 days, starting tomorrow, taking over all of our social media platforms to share some information about credit. So join us. We're going to be on video and sharing some pictures. You might see some of our faces. So each day for 12 days, look for us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to learn a little more about credit. Do you want to go to the next slide, Talon? Awesome. So I also wanted to mention for anybody on this video that we are also doing a Sub for Santa program this year. So each year our staff get together, and it's something that we do as a team, but it's us personally as well. So if you know a family that needs gifts this year and is struggling during the holidays, we'll put the information in the chat. We have a form that they can fill out because we're doing a Sub for Santa. So yeah, have some fun today, and thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you, Ellen, for that welcome and the kickoff of our programs during this holiday season. And so with our program today, we're first going to hear from Ben. He's going to be talking about ways of how we can give during this time, some different organizations and places that you can put some of your efforts into reaching out to others. And then I will take some time and talk about areas of where if you're looking for assistance, we can give you some different resources on where to look for those different places that are offering help at this time. We'll then turn the time over to Itzel, and she has some fun things to go over as far as what are some inexpensive activities and things we can do during this time to celebrate and to save some extra money in our pockets. And lastly, uh, Mackenzie will also cover some additional topics similar to Itzel, and it's just going to be lots of fun. And so, very excited about today. And with that, I'm going to turn the time over to Ben.
Thanks, Dallin. Let me know if you guys cannot hear me at any point. But yeah, so one of the questions that often comes up during the holiday season, there's a big focus on community, on helping each other and so forth, but a lot of times it's hard to feel like we can do a lot because a lot of the obvious things are about, donating things with money. And there are other opportunities out there. And so that's part of what I'm going to talk about today, is just looking at resources that we can look at in our local community. And I mean, there are similar resources like this, throughout the state, or I mean, I know we have somebody out of state here that you can look up, and hopefully this will give you an idea of what you can look up. And I actually know a number of these, they are specific to certain areas in that they're managed on a local level, but you can find the exact programs all throughout the country. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about, is ways that we can reach out and serve without necessarily having to have a lot of money, but just that we can still help others in that cheap way, but that's still meaningful. Could you go to the next slide, Talon? Okay. So one of the first ones is COVID-19 Mutual Aid. This is a volunteer website, and I'm not exactly sure what to call them. They're not a nonprofit. They're just a group of volunteers that has come together with this initiative to provide some of these opportunities to help and be helped within the community with COVID restrictions, especially since there are those in the community that, more than others, need to make sure that they maintain isolation. And so it's hard for them to go get things like prescriptions or to go shopping and so forth. And so what you can do here, if you go to this website, which I will try to make sure I provide. Oh, somebody beat me to it. Thank you. Okay, so it's in the chat, this website for COVID-19 Mutual Aid of Salt Lake City. And what you can do in volunteering there is you can volunteer to help with shopping and picking up, prescriptions and delivering those to people who need to remain isolated. I believe the process would just be that you pick it up for them, you leave it at their door, kind of like a doorbell ditch kind of situation, or at least have a mask. Obviously a mask when you go shopping, but also when you drop it off, just to help them get the things that they need since they need to stay at home. Also, providing some social support to those who may need to be isolated. Maybe it's going and just having a little bit of an interaction with a mask on for those who feel very isolated, because social support is something that is very needed. It's not just about the finances, about providing or giving gifts. Sometimes people just need interaction. And I know that that's been a concern among a number of mental health professionals during COVID, is people having the sufficient social support. So that's another way you can volunteer. And there also is, fundraising and outreach, but you can be one of those helping with the fundraising and outreach that helps to fill in the gaps. So even if you can't, donate, you can give of your time to help with that fundraising and outreach for the COVID-19 mutual aid. And also, I mean, if you speak another language, you can help provide translation and as well as remote delivery assistance with organizing some of the events and help that is received for, through this program. And then also virtual tutoring, especially for students who, need some tutoring, but during COVID, it's become a little trickier. So just an example of one way that we can reach out in the community. Talon, would you go to the next slide? Okay. The Road Home is another opportunity. The Road Home is actually a nonprofit organization that their focus is on helping people, especially those who are experiencing homelessness. So the idea of their purpose is that they provide things like emergency shelter and emergency services to help clients who are dealing with homelessness or trying to make sure that they get out of homelessness and back into, a more regular life. They help people with, getting documents and training to help with workforce, employment, as well as getting qualified housing and that kind of assistance. But one of the things you can do, is volunteer to help them as they're trying to do outreach and helping with the homeless community in the area. So you can do that either as a group. I know some churches and as well as youth groups do things like that. So you could reach out, as a group, or you could more regularly volunteer just to help out, with them reaching out to help those in need who are struggling with homelessness, especially around this time of year. Talon, would you go to the next one? Okay. Next on our list is the YWCA. Their vision is to help eliminate discrimination as well as to empower women and promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. And they just, again, it's just a simple volunteer opportunity. You could provide donations, or including gifts of things that you don't need to help brighten the holidays for the women and children that they are seeking to help during this time of year. So that's another resource out there that you can, again, volunteer, or even if you just have, a gift. I know sometimes, families, if they have a little bit more, they have kids choose a gift that goes from that, instead of going to them, goes to somebody else through an organization like this. So that's also an option. Next slide, Talon. Project ELF is part of the Christmas Box organization, and their focus is actually on children and youth. So, helping those children and youth that are at risk, who are, either victims of abuse, neglect, trafficking, homelessness, or other risks. We all hope that no kid has to face, but that's their target clientele that they're working with. And a lot of what they're asking for this Christmas are, not just money, but, if you have a gift card or clothing, maybe it's toys or supplies, they have all sorts of ways you can donate, even if it's just organizing a donation drive in your neighborhood that can allow them to have more to help brighten the lives of those children and youth that they're helping and reaching out to this Christmas season, or in this holiday season. Next slide, Talon. Oh, and I forgot, let me see. I'm going to make sure, I believe. Okay, I will have to get a link for that last one because it's not in there. But this next one is the Angel Tree of the Salvation Army of Salt Lake City Corp. And they are actually doing theirs through Walmart. Now, this is more of a monetary focused, but rather than just providing money, you can choose to buy things from the list of registry items that have been asked for to help with just those in need in this case, and specifically in Salt Lake City. And I believe this kind of, project is going underway all over the country. So if you're not in Salt Lake City, you can look elsewhere for this Angel Tree project, through the Salvation Army that they're providing nationwide. Okay, and then that way you can give specifically in a local way to your community. Talon, would you go to the next slide? Okay. And then my last slide, I actually have a couple more options to talk to you about that I forgot to put in the slides, but this website, Just Serve, is a really simple one. Just Serve is, simply put, just a website designed to allow anybody to get on and post opportunities to serve, and anybody else to get on and take those opportunities to serve. There's no discrimination about who can or cannot post on there, but it's just an opportunity to look and see what random volunteer opportunities are out in the community that maybe you haven't heard of. They have a large collection of opportunities just by, going in, putting in their search bar, put in the city, and you'll get a whole slew of options to look at and ways that you can reach out and serve in your local community and city. And so they're a great option. Also, a common one for this time of year is helping out with things like local soup kitchens. I'm not sure exactly how all that is going this year with COVID, but I'm sure, any soup kitchens that are still, providing those services would be happy to receive some help. Obviously, you'll still need to do things such as wearing a mask. Granted, my experience in past years is that you usually wear a mask just because you're dealing with other people's food. But, soup kitchens are also another good way to reach out and serve, and have been a very meaningful way that I have memories of helping and serving in the local community. So, as we go through this holiday season, remember, it's not just about money. It's not just about the gifts. It's about reaching out as a community to help each other. And we can do that in ways of giving of our time, giving of our attention. As you saw earlier, sometimes it's just a matter of emotional support and social interaction, but also in donations of gifts. And again, providing that time, effort to help make sure that other people feel cared about and supported during this time. I believe that's my last slide, Talon, so you can go on to the next one and the next person. But thank you guys, and hopefully that gives you a good idea of how you can serve this holiday season.
Perfect. Thanks, Ben. Lots of great resources. And again, the links are in the chat, and these links will be in the comments below as well. Perfect. So yeah, now it's my turn to talk about receiving some assistance during the holidays. Not all of us are in a position to give, and so wanted to provide some resources to receive some assistance, and maybe someday you'll be able to pay it forward in helping others as you get back on your feet. So first, want to start off talking about food, different food resources. So the first one there is the Utah Food Bank. And let me go ahead and enter that link in the chat as well as down below. You can visit utahfoodbank.org to find a local food pantry near you to receive assistance with receiving different items of food. There's also a mobile pantry that gets to different areas, especially here in the state, drives to different locations to provide easier convenience to the different folks around. Something else that you can look into is applying for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, and formerly was called food stamps. That's more commonly what it's referred to. But the SNAP program, you're able to apply at the link that I just entered in to start receiving some funds to go towards purchasing food from different grocery stores. And Ben, just to read it, the comment says, you can also volunteer to help with local food banks and make food donations to food banks as well. Absolutely. So going back to what he was saying earlier about looking for opportunities to serve, food banks are always looking for help. And real quick too, just a side story. There's a group of teenagers in my neighborhood that wanted to organize a food drive. And so it looks like they teamed up with Harmon's to collect plastic bags, just fresh, clean plastic bags. And they went to every door in the neighborhood and attached these bags to the doors with a note saying, we're going to be collecting the food on this day at this time. And they shared on the neighborhood Facebook page that they had collected over 3,000 items of food when they were originally aiming to just collect 1,000. So you can participate in events like that, or even start events like that on your own. Just going back to what Ben was talking about earlier. Now, jumping back to clothing assistance, the medical home portal has a listing of all sorts of different locations, areas that are providing clothing assistance. You can visit the website here. Let me go ahead and put that in the chat. But you can look up areas near you to find clothing assistance, especially too now that it's getting colder out. You'll want to look into getting there for some assistance with getting some warm clothing. As far as housing goes, there's a couple different places that you can go for some assistance. The first link there listed is a listing of all the different housing authorities in your area here in the state of Utah. And of course, if you're in other parts of the country, you'll want to look up your local housing authority. But giving them a call, you'll be able to work with them to see what programs they're offering as far as rental assistance or housing vouchers, or whatever programs they're offering right now during this time. They're the ones to contact first for that assistance. Now, the second link there is for what's called the HEAT program. And this is a program that helps individuals and families with their utility bills, especially right now with the winter months and it getting colder. Want to provide that heat, right? Get the name. Want to provide that assistance to be able to help your families be comfortable and safe at this time. So that link is there posted in the chat, and again will be below in the comments. Alrighty. With medical assistance, this is huge, especially with COVID-19 happening. Want to protect ourselves in every area where we can. And it's great to know that there's hope on the horizon with a vaccine coming out for COVID-19. But in the meantime, there's other areas that we can take precaution in making sure we're healthy and strong. One of the first link here, though, if you are needing some testing for COVID, but you're uninsured, you can go through the Utah Medicaid website, which is posted in the chat now and linked below. You'll be able to receive assistance in getting free COVID testing if you are an uninsured individual. And as you fill out that application to get that that COVID testing, that also can be used as an application for Medicaid. So it plays two parts, almost killing two birds with one stone with one application. So definitely take a look at that. But for more general assistance with medical help, there's a couple numbers that you can call, which are posted in the chat now. And giving them a call, they will be able to direct you to where you need some help. Alrighty, lastly, just a couple last resources. You can always dial 211 for more information regarding different items that you're looking for assistance with. You can dial 211 or visit their website, 211.org, I believe. And they are a big resource of knowledge on where you can receive assistance from all these areas that we've discussed, plus much more. And so giving them a call will be super helpful. The rescue mission of Salt Lake is currently offering some help, especially with the clothing, food, and hygiene products, and also a little bit with housing. You'll want to visit their website or give them a call for some assistance there. And the last thing, which is very helpful during this time with everyone working from home or going to school online, there's a lot of dependency on connecting to the internet. And one of the things that you can look into is Comcast is offering a program for low income individuals and families to apply for inexpensive internet. And that website is linked in the chat. And it looks like Mackenzie shared through the end of December of this year, you can apply for Internet Essentials, even if you're behind or owe Comcast, which is great to know. So if you worry that you're behind on payments, still give them a call, visit their website, and work to see what you can accomplish in getting that connected to the web. I hope this has been helpful and helping provide some resources on where you can turn during this troublesome time. And if you know of someone that needs some help, refer them to some of these links provided. Alrighty, with that being said, I want to turn the time over to Itzel for some lighter subjects to go over. So Itzel, I'm gonna pass the baton to you.
Thanks so much, Talon. I appreciate it. And thank you all for being here again. We really appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend a few minutes with us and learn a couple new things. So we're going to talk about how to do some Christmas crafts on Little Cash. So let's start off by going over how to make a plan to prepare for our Christmas crafts, right? Because there's a ton of different options you can do. And so I want to make sure that we can discuss ways to prepare for that so you're not doing everything last minute. So we're going to talk about 5 different steps to do our Christmas crafts. We'll be discussing what are we crafting, so deciding what craft we want to do, looking through our inventory, creating a budget to see what we can afford, and then of course looking for sales, and to end it off, of course, have fun while you're making your crafts. So let's start with what are we crafting? So I think it's really important to decide way in advance to see how, or decide what you'd like to craft with your loved ones, family, friends, just so you know mainly who are you crafting for? Is your whole family crafting? Are you going to do a big craft, little craft? Are you going to go to a certain location, etc. You can also check out different websites that can help you best execute your ideas for crafts. So I know Pinterest and YouTube and pretty much any social media platform can really help you on, oops, thanks, Helen. I forgot to ask you to change the slide. Anyway, so yeah, research ideas for your crafts. Pinterest is a great place to get ideas on what to craft. YouTube could be a great place to show you how to make certain crafts, give you a step-by-step video. And then a lot of different social media platforms also do like quick 60-second videos on different ideas that you can do literally in any department, right? A couple examples about what crafts you could do could be wreaths, advent calendars, home decor, crocheting, knitting, gingerbread houses, etc. I think for the month of October, me and a cousin of mine, we made little basket centerpieces for the fall. And that was really fun. I mean, we bought all of our stuff from the Dollar Tree, and it was definitely a lot more affordable than buying it already made, and we enjoyed each other's company. So I think DIY will definitely be your best friend during this time. So now that we've selected what we're going to craft, the next step is to do inventory. So what do you need to create your craft? First things first, go through your supplies and make a list of what you have versus what you need. I know a lot of us probably have a little craft section or just materials we use to create, you know, any gifts, crafts, etc. Definitely go through your stash to see what's in there and what's missing. And of course, don't forget to check your list twice so you don't have to buy supplies you already have. Because remember, we're trying to do Christmas crafts on Little Cash. So if you don't need to buy extra supplies, then don't do so. And of course, remember to buy extra supplies if you need to replenish your stash, right? Because sometimes you might need extra paper, extra markers, or whatever it may be. So add that to your list if it's something you need to refill in your inventory. Next slide, please. Thank you. So now that we have our list of things we need to buy, let's take a look at our budget. Determine how much you want to spend for holiday crafts. It really does help to set your budget months before. Obviously, the sooner the better, so you're not buying or crafting last minute, because as we know, that can get pretty expensive, time consuming, and some items you might need might sell out sooner than later. So definitely plan your budget well in advance to determine how much you want to spend. Um, if you need to stock up on supplies, this is the time to include it in your budget so you can remember to buy extra of whatever you usually have in your crafting section. And it's also really helpful to plan in advance if you're going to buy online or travel long distance to buy supplies. Because again, the goal is to stay in your budget for this holiday season. So it's good to prepare in advance for your crafts instead of doing it last minute. And it also helps to prepare for next year's holiday crafting as well. Next slide, please. Alrighty, so once we have our budget set, let's go shopping. I recommend looking for different sales. There are a ton of sales during this holiday season, so definitely keep an eye out for those at your favorite stores. I recommend going to craft stores like Joann's or Hobby Lobby. I know they have a ton of stuff on sale pretty much all day, every day. So take a look and see if they have any sales on certain, certain things you need to create your craft and save some coin there. Also look at some different coupons. You can check your mail, your email, or even social media to see if any of your favorite stores are having a sale, or if they have a 20% off, a 50% off coupon available for you to shop at. It looks like Mackenzie gave us a cool little tip here. Let me read it out loud. So she says, one of my favorite coupon apps for places like Joann's and Michael's is Retail Me Not. Awesome. I had no idea that was even an option. So thanks so much for sharing that, Mackenzie. Yeah, but point there is, look for different coupons to save some extra coin. And then last but not least, look at different discount stores, thrift stores, or outlets. We did a presentation on just outlets and discount stores and thrift stores. I think it was in October. So definitely go to our YouTube channel or even our social media to find that video to learn more about the different ones we have in our area. But those stores have a lot of different things that are really affordable. For example, one of my favorite stores that I love to shop at is MPS. They have a location in Salt Lake City and a location in Orem, but they just have a ton of different things for a super affordable price. And one thing I noticed last time I was there, they had a lot of crafting stuff for pretty much cheap. It was super, super affordable. So definitely consider those kind of stores. When purchasing items for your crafts. Another example, one of my sister-in-law, we went to Goodwill to buy some frames for a friend, and we bought like 10 picture frames for, I think it was like $10. Or maybe no, we bought like 40 actually. It was a lot. Anyway, the point is that it was super affordable, and we were able to do our craft at like for $10, right? So point there is keep an eye on for different sales that we have here, in the valley and whatnot. So last but not least, remember to have fun, because this is, the holiday season. So remember to have fun, include your children, your family, your loved ones throughout this whole process. And then Heather just posted the video that I referred to earlier that mentions different thrift stores and outlet to shop out to save some coin. That's it for me. If you have any questions, please wait till the end. We're going to have a live Q&A. But like I said before, I hope you guys have learned something and are enjoying our presentation so far.
Awesome. Thanks, Itzel. Real quick before I turn the time over to Mackenzie, I just remembered something I did even last night. Me and my friends over Zoom built gingerbread houses, but rather than getting a kit from Walmart or something like that, which can get pretty pricey, anywhere from $8 to $15, we just made our own little kits. So made our own frosting, used graham crackers, bags of M&Ms, and it was super cheap and lots of fun. And I think it turned out better than just a box set from the store. So that's something else too, just an idea. And yeah, Mackenzie, that's a great idea, using Pop-Tarts as well.
Thanks for sharing that, Talon. I actually, I love that idea. I did that when I was in elementary. And I think I tried doing, or we actually did a gingerbread house like 3 weeks ago. We bought the one from Walmart, and it's not worth it. So definitely do what Talon did, and it's going to be more affordable and probably more delicious and not stale gingerbread cookie.
Mhm. Perfect. Well, thank you, Itzel. That's lots of great information and how to have fun on a budget during this time. All right, Mackenzie, we'd love to turn the time over to you now.
Awesome. Okay, so I personally, during this pandemic, it's been a little bit tricky to find things that we can do as households that is not costly as well as social distancing friendly. So I wanted to come up with or give you guys some ideas as to what you can do locally that is free as well as promotes the holiday season that we find ourselves in. So the first one is that this year, Utah's Hogle Zoo lights, the admission is free. Unfortunately, I guess that there is now either a waiting list or I guess the tickets are sold out, but if you go to their website, as people are not showing up, they're opening up more spaces. So please, if you're interested in going to see the zoo lights with your family, visit their website, as the admission in the evenings is free this year. Another classic and exciting thing to do in Utah is the Temple Square lights. Unfortunately, this year, as a combination of Temple Square being closed and in addition to COVID, you can only view the lights from the outside the fence, but still a great view and opportunity to be able to see some Christmas lighting. Another place is the Ogden Christmas Village. I went and did this a few years ago. It's really fun. They have it in their city square area where they just have a bunch of little Christmas houses, little villages, I guess you could call it, with different decor in each little house. So that looks, I think, a little bit different this year as well. They request that you wear masks and that you social distance, but that is free and in the city of Ogden, so up in Weber County. Then I have attached here the KSL came out with the map as to where you can go throughout the state with different lights that the homes that people have, or the homes that they have lit up, that you can go and see their homes. So if you pull up the map, it will take you from house to house that has different Christmas lights. And then the Layton lights at the Layton Common Park is free of charge as well. They have just lights around the park with their trees and some decor there that you can go take a stroll with your household. And then Whoville Housing. So this was a home in West Valley that has created their house to be what you would consider the Grinch to possibly live in, or the Who family. So you can go and visit there. It's a specific home, but is welcome to the public. And I have the address listed there in West Valley. So that's some free Christmas lights. And let's go to the next one. This is more of a social distancing activities that you can do for free with your loved ones as well. At Gardner Village, so I'm trying to remember, I think that's in more of the South Jordan area. They have an elf display as well as an elf scavenger hunt going on. And those who complete the elf scavenger hunt at the different shops there at Gardner Village, you can go to the business that's promoting that and get a free treat. And that information can actually be found on the Gardner Village website. At Station Park in Farmington, they're doing a snowman scavenger hunt. So you can go and find all the snowman. And again, if you submit your your completed map to a local business there at Station Park, you also can receive a treat. Cabela's is offering a free Santa visit, and it's socially distance friendly as they have Santa behind plexiglass. I'm excited to take my little one because I think she'll be a little less frightened because it won't be on his lap, but she'll be able to see him. So you need to do is to book that in advance if you're interested in going, but that's at Cabela's. You can always bake cookies. It's always fun to try a seasonal recipe, and of course, not only to bake them, but to eat them. And then candy display windows at the South Jordan Town Center. They have some window displays in their town center square, so you can go and take a stroll there. Last but not least, we actually already talked about this, but to build a gingerbread house. Like mentioned, there's lots of ways to do that. You can buy graham crackers and frosting from the dollar store and to build them that way. I saw recently on social media, somebody just did Pop-Tarts. They bought some cheap Pop-Tarts and built the gingerbread house with a Pop-Tart. I bought a kit last year, but on clearance. So talk about stale cookies. I'm definitely gonna have a stale gingerbread house this year, but I don't like to eat my gingerbread houses. I just like to build them. So I bought mine on clearance last year and put it in my Christmas storage, and that's another way that you can do that kind of thing for free. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us. We do have some time for any questions if you have any. I will say this, please, please, please follow us on our different social media platforms. You can search us using those different, or using what is displayed here at the bottom. So you can search AAA Fair Credit Foundation on Facebook, Fair Credit FDN on Instagram, and then AAA Fair Credit on Twitter. As mentioned earlier, that we are doing a 12 days of credit with different credit tips over the next 12 days. So please, please, please follow along. And in addition, any time that you like or share any of that content, you will be entered into a chance for a giveaway. So make sure that you tune into that. All right, any questions that anybody has for us?
I have a question for Talon just because it came up with a client that I met with today. Do you know, I don't know if, I forgot if you mentioned this during your part, but do you know if there's any like clothing vouchers, and if there are, how someone can apply for them?
As far as clothing vouchers, I wasn't able to find anything. If
Okay.
anything, I would recommend that website I posted. Let me go ahead and let me grab that one more time. And there is that link. It's the medical home portal. There's listed different organizations and places throughout here in the state of Utah, but it looked like you could pick any state and it listed all the different organizations and places helping with clothing
Perfect.
donations.
Awesome. Thank you, Talon.
And also too, in the chat, it looks like 211 is always a good resource. So
Duh.
Along with 211, they also have a seasonal /winter icon you can click on. So it's things going on just during this time that aren't always ongoing for various companies, so they can click on and utilize that as well. So
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
great. Well, I think that's pretty much everything. Please, 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 again, follow us for the 12 days of credit. And then this recording will be posted to our YouTube page. So if you wanted to go back, or if you wanted to refer to this again and refer it to friends or family, you can do so by going on our YouTube page. And yeah, please feel free to call us or book an appointment with us by emailing info@faircredit.org. And again, thank you for joining, and have a happy holiday season from us at Fair Credit Foundation.